Hi! I am about to tell you a story about the Velveteen Rabbit. So, are you ready? Let's begin. Once upon a time, in a toy shop nestled among the hills, there was a small Velveteen Rabbit. He had soft, brown fur and long floppy ears, and he was very proud of his luxurious coat. The Velveteen Rabbit was content with his life in the toy shop, spending his days playing with the other toys and waiting for a child to come and choose him to be their own. He dreamed of being loved and cherished by a child, of being taken home to a warm and cozy bed, and of being played with until he was worn and well loved. One day, a little boy came into the toy shop with his mother. His eyes lit up when he saw the Velveteen Rabbit, and he begged his mother to buy him. The Velveteen Rabbit was overjoyed. He had been chosen. The little boy took the Velveteen Rabbit home and played with him every day. They had tea parties together, went on adventures in the garden, and even cuddled up together at night. The Velveteen Rabbit was so happy. He had never felt so loved. But as the days went by, the Velveteen Rabbit began to notice something strange. His fur was becoming matted and worn, his ears droopy, and his once bright eyes were becoming dim. He realized that his time with the little boy was causing him to become loved and worn out, just as he had dreamed. One day, the little boy fell ill with scarlet fever. He was too sick to play with his toys, and the Velveteen Rabbit was left alone in the toy box. He was sad and lonely, missing his dear friend. But one night, a magical thing happened. A fairy appeared before him, and she told him that she would turn him into a real rabbit if he could prove that he was truly loved. The Velveteen Rabbit was overjoyed at the prospect of becoming real, and he set out to find someone who loved him. He looked everywhere for the little boy, but he was nowhere to be found. Finally, he met an old, wise rabbit who told him that being loved and becoming real didn't require the love of just one person, but rather the love of many. So the Velveteen Rabbit set out to make friends with all the wild rabbits in the woods. He hopped and played with them, shared stories with them, and even taught them to love. He was the happiest he had ever been, surrounded by friends who loved him for who he was. One day, as he was playing with his new friends, the Velveteen Rabbit suddenly felt a sharp pain in his chest. He knew that this was the moment he had been waiting for, the moment he would become real. And so he closed his eyes and surrendered to the magic that was happening all around him. When he opened his eyes, he saw that he was no longer a Velveteen Rabbit, but a real one, with soft fur and bright eyes. He looked around and saw that all his friends were still there, and he knew that he would be loved and cherished for the rest of his days. And so, the little Velveteen Rabbit lived happily ever after, loved and adored by all who knew him. The end.